Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. My name is Tian Connaughton, and I am a knit and crochet designer, technical editor, and author. My most recent book is a cozy mystery novel. The title is The Magic Knit and Pattern Book. And last year, 2023, I put out a pattern and instructional book for knitters and crocheters called Cardigans for Everybody. And in that book, not only do we include patterns to knit to crochet cardigan patterns, but we also include tips and tricks to help you to knit and crochet sweaters that will actually fit your body. Because if you are like me, you're not a standard size person, you might have struggled with patterns fit in your body. Maybe you're like me, and in the past you were like, I just need to lose a few extra pounds and then I can fit that pattern. No. We're at the stage now where we're focusing on making clothes to fit the body we're actually in. We're at the stage where we are celebrating our bodies because our bodies have done a lot and we should be celebrated and being grateful for that. So that was the book I put out in 2023, and then the novel was in 2024. Now, if you've been around for a little while, I've been talking about my 90-day sprint. We are at the halfway point, and I wanted to talk about something that I've learned along the way. It's something I knew, but I think doing this 90-day sprint has really reinforced my thinking. And that is when we're talking about marketing our knit and crochet patterns and offers and things like that, we are focusing on selling, right? You have a new pattern coming out and you are like, oh, okay, I need to sell. And I think that is a mistake because, yeah, we want to sell our patterns, but also we want to build communities with our audience and also sell the result of what our pattern and our offers will give to our audiences. What does that look like? Well, like everything else, it goes back to our ideal audience. Who do you serve? What are they looking for? What are they up late at night Googling? And can your pattern, your offer, the thing you're trying to sell, how does that fit into their lives and provide some sort of transformation for them? If that's something that you're like, oh, I need to figure that out, my ideal audience, I have a course on that. I will link the details in the notes. But that's really what we want to be focusing on. It's not just selling a pattern. It's not just selling a toe-up sock or a top-down sweater or whatever. It's about selling the transformation of what does this mean for your audience? How will it fit into their lives? Are you selling them confidence? Are you selling them the ability to learn a new tactic? Are you selling them knowing new techniques or learning new tips and tricks? What is it that they've been up late at night Googling, watching on YouTube, trying to solve and figure out from that information how you can help them to get there? How can you give them that transformation? So when you're looking at your audience, don't just think of them as dollar sign, but I think if you're just going to think about just selling, it's going to come off as inauthentic. It's going to come off as salesy. It's going to come off as sleazy. So if you're just like, oh, well, I don't market because it feels salesy, sleazy, not like you, that's because you are constantly selling and you're not making connections. You're not really thinking about your audience in a way that, go beyond just the sale. What do they want? Right? What are they searching for? And as I've been doing this 90-day sprint, I'm really focusing on how my audience is showing up. What kind of language are they using? How are they feeling when they buy sweater patterns? How are they feeling when, Rhinebeck is coming up and they want to go and all their friends who are standard size are making a sweater? How are they feeling? How are those shorter, fatter, taller, long arm, short torso, big shoulder, small hip folks, how are those folks feeling when they go to pick out that Rhinebeck sweater and realize, well, it's in my size, but there are pieces of the sweater that don't fit, right? It's in their size for the chest, but then for that size, the shoulders don't fit, the armhole don't fit, the hips don't fit, the torso's too short, the torso's too long, right? There are a lot of different areas in a pattern that, even though the pattern is size inclusive, just might not fit you, and that's okay. You have to figure out your body. You have to figure out what's going to look good on you. How are you going to show up? And from that, then I'm taking all those types of comments and I'm writing different content to address those issues. I know that my audience, they are out there searching for ways to substitute pattern. They are out there trying to figure out how to use up the yarn in their stash. They're trying to figure out how to substitute yarn, how to make adjustments to a pattern to fit their particular body. So when I'm creating content, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about, okay, the book is $29.99 and you can buy it in paperback or ebook. Yeah, those things are important, but that's not what's important to my audience. What's important to my audience is knowing, how are they going to feel when they're done with this book? What's the transformation they're going to have in their lives after reading this book? And if you are just selling patterns based off of, what the pattern is, toe up, top down, all in one piece, dig a little deeper, right? Dig deeper into addressing the why. Why does that matter? How does that fit into your audience's life? Find one person in your audience who would be the perfect person for your thing and really dig deep into, what does this do for them? Why does it matter? So as I'm going through these 90 days, I'm really focusing on reaching my audience and talking to them in ways that really matter. I'm solidifying my message. I'm getting super clear on what matters to them and talking about it. Sure, it might seem boring. Sure, it might be like, oh, you keep saying the same thing. But that's what messaging is all about. It's about having something to relate to your audience and keep saying it over and over. It's when you start switching up your messaging, that's when you lose track of who you're talking to. When you start changing up your message every few days, every few weeks, that's when your audience gets super confused and not know who you are or what you're about, and then they just fall off. So stick to your message. Get it clearer, get it more solid every time you put content out there. But your message should remain the same. Look at all the big brands out there. They've had the same messages for decades. The wording might change, the feel might change, the vibe might change. They might get more modern, but it's the same message. Go check out your favorite brand. McDonald's, Pepsi, Nike. Their message has always been the same. So why can't you have a message that remains the same throughout your career? You don't have to keep changing, right? And that's where you get stuck. Every time you change, you're starting over. And that starting over is what is keeping you stuck. It's what's keep pushing you back. Because every time you get a little bit ahead, you get stuck. You change your mind and you have to start all over again. So you only get to a certain point. And I get it. I've been there. I've been there for many, many years. And you know why? For me, it was because it was scary. It was easy to get to a certain point and stop and then just start again and stop and start again and stop. Because moving forward was scary. That unknown was scary. Having my son being young, my husband working and not knowing where my career would take me, that was scary. So I would keep starting over and get to this point. Start over, get to this point. And now I am like so excited to push forward every single time to get a little further. And I'm seeing that in my business. I'm seeing that growth in my business. I'm seeing that I've created systems. I've created processes. I can work less and make the same amount. I can work less and exceed my goal from the previous years. I can work less and be creating new things. Like I'm working on a new novel. If I was working the way I was 10 years ago, only to get to a certain point, starting over and get to a certain point, I wouldn't be able to branch out and now be creating pattern, books, novels, and all these different things. I'm not afraid to see what's ahead. When I get to this point, okay, great. What else? And that's what I want for you. I want you to get to this point and not just keep starting over. I don't want you to just keep going backwards. I want you to get to this point and say, what else? And move a little bit further and move a little bit further. You can do this. And try it in 90 days. Just push past that comfort zone where you're at right now. Just push forward a little bit. It's not going to make or break your business. Trust me, one step will not make or break your business. Take a step and see where you're at. Look down and say, okay, this is where I am. Sit in that for a little bit and then move on. We want to keep moving on. We don't want to keep starting over. That's where we get stuck. That's where our revenue gets stuck. That's when we stop doing what we're doing. That's when we quit. That's when we go back to corporate. That's when we do whatever we used to do. We want to get to our comfort zone. We want to butt up against it and move forward. So in these 90 days, I would love for you to share with me in the comment, email, whatever is more comfortable for you. Share with me, what is your comfort zone? Is it that you are stuck with your ideal audience, not sure what they want? Is it that you prefer putting out patterns because that's comforting instead of marketing your existing catalog? Where are you now? What are you stuck around? Let's brainstorm together. I know that for me, working with a coach, years and years and years, still working with a coach, has helped me to push forward. Because sometimes I know what I should do, right? I know what I should do, but having somebody else say, you really should do it, has helped me to push past. And I don't think I would have been able to push past my comfort zone without support. And that's what I would love to do for you if I am able to, right? Keep watching these videos. Reach out if I can help you. I offer one-on-one coaching, but please push past your comfort zone. That's where the magic is. That's where growth is. And if you want that business of yours to keep going, you can't keep going backwards, right? You can't keep in that same old pattern. We got to stop where we are right now. Look at our barriers and break through and move forward. So I hope this has been valuable to you. I cannot wait to see all that you do. Bye for now.